commercial and business buildings, which is kind of rare for downtown Vancouver. 70% of the buildings in downtown Vancouver are actually residential. So there are more buildings where people live downtown than buildings where people actually work. So this area is kind of the exception to that rule, an area where it's mostly commercial and business buildings. And if you guys look in the distance out at sea, can you vaguely see that peninsula sticking out at sea? To the left side, yeah. So that peninsula is called Point Grey, and on top of Point Grey is where the University of British Columbia is located. So the university is one of the top 30 universities in the world, and it has a huge campus size, one of the largest campus sizes out of any university in Western Canada. The university is actually on First Nations land, so all the land that it is on is leased. So the university is not actually owned land, it's all leased land. So the university campus and all the land that it is on, including all the First Nations land, is actually larger than our entire downtown center. So it's a huge campus with a very large student population. There's around 45,000 students, give or take, that go to that university. So tons of students over there. The university also has 2 botanical gardens, a biodiversity museum, and a really amazing museum of anthropology. So the Museum of Anthropology is located in the university, and the Museum of Anthropology really celebrates First Nations history within British Columbia. British Columbia, as a province, actually has the largest amount of First Nations languages and First Nations tribes out of any other province in Canada. So the university really celebrates that history with First Nations artifacts specifically from British Columbia, and they have artifacts from all over the globe. I've seriously spent about 3 hours in that museum and haven't even finished the whole thing. So definitely check out the Museum of Anthropology if you guys are going to be around the university. As well, the university has a very unique beach called Wreck Beach. Wreck Beach is a clothing optional beach, so it is a nude beach. A really good place to get a very even suntan. Wreck Beach is a beautiful place. Despite all the nudity, it's a very unique beach in the sense that it's the most secluded beach in all of Vancouver. So to access the beach, you have to go down a flight of 300 stairs, and then once you're at the beach, it's surrounded by forest. The beach also has phenomenal views of Vancouver Island, and whether you decide to bear it all or not, it's a really beautiful place to check out. And that entire bay area, kind of winding into us on the downtown side, that area of water is called English Bay. English Bay is home to a couple of really fun events that go on in Vancouver. One of them is called the Festival of Light, which just passed this July. So the Festival of Light is a fireworks competition that happens every end of July in Vancouver. 3 countries from all over the globe come to Vancouver and show off their fireworks skills. So this year we had the USA, Japan, and France. And it was Japan that won this year. Their fireworks were pretty spectacular. So the entire Bay Area lights up during this event, and it's really beautiful to check out. As well, have any of you guys heard of a polar bear swim?
Yes. Like January?
Yeah. No? So polar bear swim, for those of you who do not know, happens every January 1st. When brave individuals really bring in the new year by jumping into the icy cold waters of the Pacific Ocean, because what better way to bring in the new year with some mild hypothermia. Yeah. So apparently it's the best way to really cleanse yourself of the past year and bring in the new year. I've never tried it myself, the concept terrifies me, but to those people who have, kudos to them, they are braver than me. So that is English Bay. And I'll just point out a couple of cool buildings on our financial district to show you before we end off our tour. So if you guys look to the far left, do you see a white building with a red and blue clock on top of it?
Yeah.
So that is the Vancouver Block building. That was built in 1912. And it was actually home to Mr. Seymour Burns of the Burns Meatpacking Company. This one guy actually lived in the tiny cubicle penthouse under the clock. As well, the Vancouver Block building, on the right side of it, faces Granville Street. Granville Street is a really good street if you guys want to get some really good food, do some shopping, and it has a really amazing nightlife as well. So that's Granville Street. If you guys want to do some shopping downtown, another really great place is the Pacific Center. The Pacific Center is an underground shopping mall located downtown, and I'll show you one of the entrances to it. Do you guys see? There are 2 identical brown buildings with white strips separating them, a little bit to the left side. Do you guys see those buildings? Right in between them is a lit up glass dome. Does everybody see that?
Yep.
So that glass dome is one of the many entrances to the Pacific Center. So if you guys want to do some shopping or even escape the heat of downtown Vancouver, head over to the Pacific Center. It's a really great way to do some last-minute shopping when you're downtown. And the last thing I'll show you guys on this side is the Marine Building, which was actually the first observation deck in Vancouver. So the guys that had the idea before we came along. And I'll kind of have to show you guys the Marine Building. It's kind of hard to see. Do you see this white building a little bit to the right side, straight in front of us? This white building under the Shaw Tower. And do you guys see behind that white building, there's like a brown building with a green triangle on top of it? Does everybody see that building? Behind this white building, a little bit to the left side of this brown building with a green top. It will light up more later in the night, but that building is the Marine Building. So the Marine Building is an Art Deco masterpiece built in 1929. There was plans for it to be the first observation deck in Vancouver. However, because it was built during the Great Depression, few if not any people could afford the 25-cent fee to go up the observation deck. So it lost a lot of money back in the day, and it was actually sold to the Guinness family of Guinness beers for about $900,000, which was about a third of the price that it was made for. Oh, careful. So the building was bought by the Guinness family for about $900,000. It's now estimated at $22 billion. So the Guinness family knows how to make good beer and good investments. The entire interior of the building is super beautiful. It's all Art Deco nautical themed. So you guys can go inside and check it out. And you might actually recognize it from a couple of films and TV shows. The Fantastic Four movies, if you guys know of those were filmed in the Marine Building. Another very popular show called Smallville. If you guys know that show about Superman and his newspaper. So Clark Kent's newspaper, The Daily Planet, was all filmed in the Marine Building as well. A lot of filming is done in Vancouver. Vancouver is often referred to as the Hollywood of the North, just because it's way less expensive to film here than it would be in Hollywood or New York. So a lot of filming is done here. If you guys know of the movie Mission Impossible 4, that was filmed here. So Tom Cruise was running through the streets of Vancouver, and they actually made Vancouver look like Mumbai for the movie. As well, the Twilight series, that movie, that series about vampires, wasn't the best movie. However, it was filmed in Vancouver and Vancouver Island as well. They're also filming a movie called Into the Woods within Squamish and Whistler and Vancouver as well. So if you guys are around downtown Vancouver, definitely look out for filming being done. It's not rare that you'll actually see a lot of filming being done, especially in Gastown and Chinatown and in the older neighborhoods of downtown Vancouver. Yeah. So I'm going to end off my tour there. Do any of you guys have any questions before we end off? Thank you guys all so much for joining me. It was a pleasure having you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your time here in Vancouver. Yeah. Thanks guys. Cheers.